All right. Good stuff. So good afternoon. Welcome to the Emerald Call. It is Wednesday afternoon. We are absolutely delighted to have Ali Mack here, who is a diamond coach within Team Livewright as the whole, but also for Team Choose Fit Life, and also her massive team of her own, which is the Sweaty Mess Club. So Ali is a diamond coach. She's also a Success Club earner, like consistently. She's got like a whole bunch of other businesses that run. So if anybody wants to know how to fit all this in, then it's definitely Ali. And I know that's going to be the encompassing thing that Ali's going to be talking about, is about time and how you manage to do all these things and still be successful and still manage to sort of balance all these things out. So we're really, really happy that you're here. Thank you so much, Ali. I'm literally just going to let you get on. And like I say, don't be distracted by people jumping in at the end.
Okay, no problem. I think this is quite an interesting week for me to talk about team management, because I have just gone full time in my other business. So I have just for the first time in like 7 years gone fully self-employed. So this week, my time management is, in fact, the last 3 weeks, my time management has been all over the place, but it has allowed me to realize how important it is to be really, really efficient with your time, especially with coaching, because it can be all encompassing. It can take over, your for what you're physically doing, but it also can take up a lot of space in your mind as well. And if you're not being purposeful with your time, you can use up a lot of time coaching, but not actually doing the coaching work, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to talk through some tips that I use for myself. Obviously, your time management, especially when it comes to coaching, is going to look different for absolutely every one of us. So obviously, if you're wanting to be a top coach like Diana, the time that you're going to have to put into this is so much more than if you are, you've just hit Emerald and you're quite happy there. You've got maybe your partner and a best friend and you're just here for the community. The time that you put into it and the tasks that you do are going to look really different depending on where you want to go with coaching. And I think that's really, really important, because quite often we can look at even if you're coming in as a discount coach, but there's all the pressure from the leaderboards and stuff like that, and you can sometimes get kind of carried away on that when it's not really the place that you want to go. You're just here for the community and stuff like that. So where you want to go with this will determine the amount of time and the sort of activities that you have to do. For myself, I came into coaching as a business builder. I wasn't a customer with Beachbody. I really didn't actually know what it was. Megan, my coach, who used to teach my kids at school, I stumbled across her on Instagram and was like, what is she doing? I was a fitness instructor already, and I was looking for something to kind of bind my classes together and give them something else. And as soon as she said what she was doing, I was just like, yep, I've got no idea what this is, but I want involved with it. Like, let's go. And so like, obviously I'm here as a business. I want to earn money from it. I want to have that paycheck every Thursday. So the hours that I put in are maybe slightly different to you if you're just, here for the community and the extra accountability and that little extra in your bank every week that maybe pays for your Shakeology or whatever, but the principles are still the same. I think one of the biggest things that I hear from coaches is that when they're sort of maybe getting a little bit disheartened that they're not earning what they think they should be earning, and when you actually break down what they're doing in a week, they're using a lot of their time on the fun stuff, but not the actual business building activities. So you can do a lot of coaching work without actually doing any income producing activities. And when you get sucked into that sort of mindset that you're doing all the things, then it can be really disheartening when you're not getting a paycheck at the end of it. But when you have a bit of a gut check and you think, well, actually, okay, I'm not doing the income producing things, then it becomes really important, if you're wanting that check every week, to make sure that you're ticking off the business activity tracker. And how I fit that into my day is, and I have to have this check every now and again, because what works for you one week might not work a couple of weeks down the line. You know, your life changes, things come into your life, you know, things just change, and you have to be adaptable to it. But I do find that when I'm not being structured with what activities I'm doing at each time, and I'm trying to do everything at once, I end up doing nothing. And that is a really horrible place to be in, because you're treading water and you're using up so much physical and mental energy, but you're not actually getting anything back in return for it. I speak to a lot of coaches who, if you were to look on their Instagram or their social media, are doing all the things, but they're not doing the coaching things. So if you're getting up and doing your workout, if you're doing your personal development, if you're checking into the bod group and you're maybe on like a WhatsApp or a Facebook chat group and you're chatting about how good the workout was and stuff, that's Beachbody, but it's not coaching. So that is you doing your proof of the product, which is just your self-care, but really that's not income producing. Your income producing is the things that you don't typically see as shading. So it's like these calls, or not so much these calls just now, but the calls with your group, your coaches, your mentoring calls. It's when you sit down and set your timer to connect with however many people that you said you're going to connect. And I think, especially for new coaches, if you're looking up to another coach, we're all really good at shading the easy stuff, the workout, the fun stuff. And for newer coaches, you think that that's what it is that you need to do to generate income, and you kind of feel like you're doing it, but actually we need to make an effort to show this like back office side a little bit more, so that people know that you have to be putting the work in the background to actually be getting that income producing activity. So what I've done is, for me, coaching, or the Beachbody in a whole, breaks down into 4 elements for me. Number 1 is myself. So that is my workout, my personal development. The community side, that's for me. That is the 3 things that break down into me. The next thing on the list, the second most important thing to me, are the customers that I sign up. So I want to make sure that when people are signing up and paying their money and coming into my group, that they're getting, you know, their money's worth. They're feeling motivated, and they're feeling like they are part of this sweaty mess club that I talk about all the time. Because you will have people that come in, that pay the money, and then you never see them again. Like, you do get people like that, but I want to make sure that at the end of the day, I know that I'm showing up in my groups and they know that I'm there should they need me. And because then I know that I've done all that I can do. I'm not personal training them. I shouldn't have to be going and dragging them through their programs. So as long as I'm showing up in my group, I feel comfortable that I'm doing what I need to do. So that's myself, my customers. Then my coaches and inviting are the other 2 elements. So I want to lean into my coaches. I want to make sure that they have got access to me if they have any questions. I want to make sure that I'm like inspiring them, keeping them up to date with whatever's going on. Beachbody can be quite confusing, and there's lots of ways to do stuff that you only really find out by actually doing it and being in it and learning about Coach Office and learning about, you know, especially now you guys, I think, are all emeralds. So learning about your team cycle bonuses and stuff like that, you know, just making sure that you are working the business to the best, or, you know, for yourself. So you're getting the most team cycle bonuses and stuff like that. And then there's the income producing activities. So really myself, my customers, and my coaches, they're in, like they're locked in, they're here. And I want to just make sure that I'm giving them all the stuff that they need. But really, to build a business, you've got to really be focusing on that back office side of things, that connections with people. And that's not just going into my Instagram and messaging a heap of people saying, hey, want to join my club? Want to join my club? No, it's just like adding people, to, you know, following people. If they follow me back, I send them a wee message to say, hey, like, you know, a little blurb about me. I don't really ever kind of invite people, but I just say, hey, like, thanks for following my page. This is what you're going to find here. If you need a hand with anything, you know where I am, like, happy to give you advice. So that's the 4 kind of elements that I break it down to. And when I'm sitting down or standing up or dancing around my living room, whatever element that I'm in, I'm giving it my 100% focus. So when I get up in the morning, that is my time. So I don't message into my groups. I schedule. So like the day before, I've scheduled posts to go into my group. So at 6 a.m. in the morning, there's, you know, a little blurb going in to motivate people. But physically, that morning is mine. That's for me. We should work on ourselves first. So I get up first thing in the morning. I actually have started filming myself reading my personal development. So I get up in the morning, I put my camera onto time lapse, is it? It goes fast. And I sit it on the other side of the room because, one, I'm trying to show people a little bit more the back, you know, the back office stuff, the boring stuff, you know, because we need to do that to succeed. But it also stops me from randomly picking my phone up and scrolling, because if you're picking your phone up and scrolling, like, you're going to get sucked in, and it's going to be like half an hour or more of dead time. And if you're busy, like, dead time is not what you want. So I put my phone, I set it on time lapse, and I film myself doing my personal development and drinking my Energize. And do you know what? That's a tick. That's 2 ticks. When I sit down with my my business activity tracker later on, but it's still my time. So I sit down, I read my personal development, I drink my Energize, I then go do my workout, which again is all me time. I'll then post up my time lapse of me reading my personal development, and I'll just put a wee blurb over it. In, you know, so it's the personal development and the reading, the boring stuff is in the background, but I'll put a wee blurb up about it. And I think people love to probably like hold down and have a nosy at what my living room looks like. But so they're like subconsciously reading what I'm saying and having a nosy at my living room at the same time. So that's the whole sort of be proof of the product, you know, ticked out of the way. And I've had that time when I'm not getting distracted. So this is what I say, like, I have had to change it up a little bit, but this is why. So I've just left a full-time job. So up until last week, I was full-time 8 till 5 in my work. I have a juice business, which I was doing in the evening. So making like freshly made smoothies and juices and posting them out to people. And as part of that as well, I have a converted horse box. So on a Saturday and Sunday, I was out with the horse box. So that's 7 days of my week, literally getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and not really stopping till, you know, way after dinner time. And I was still managing with those 3 things to hit Success Club and to build to Diamond within the last, well, I thought I was like 18 months or maybe 12 months I built to Diamond. So the way that I did that was I got up at 5 till 7 was my proof of the product time. So I'm up, I read my personal development, I drink my Energize, I do my workout, I take a sweaty selfie, I'm done. I go to work. At lunchtime, I do another 20 minutes where I post my sweaty selfie, I post up my time lapse of my workout, I do a call to action on that. I then post my sweaty selfie into my bod group, and I go through and I respond to all my customers that have checked in with their workouts, like a little like well done and whatever. So that is your connecting, answering questions, getting people results. That's that bit, tick, 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 tick. when I come home from work, most of our calls are in the evening. So I'll do like half an hour of like a team call, but I always tag either half an hour after or half an hour before, which is my like inviting stage. So I'll either take half an hour after a team call or a mastermind or whatever it is, half an hour before or half an hour afterwards. I set my timer, I sit down, I don't scroll, and I'm just like going in, inviting people, going in, sending my little blurb, which I just copy and paste. So I've got the same thing, and it might change. You might write one out, and then every time you send it, you might think, oh, I'll just add this wee bit in, I'll just add this wee bit in. And you tweak it as you go until you've got something that you're quite happy with, and you can just copy and paste it. Obviously, if I'm kind of in a conversation with them, or if I've seen something on their page that sticks out to me, I will amend it so it looks a little bit more personal, but it's quite a quick action. And most of the time, because I've not said I'm selling anything or doing anything, I'm just like, hey, my name's Ali, I'm married, I've got 2 kids and a dog, blah, blah. Like, I'm a fitness instructor with a smoothie business, and just trying to share my love of fitness and get people motivated. It's nothing like, oh, hey, you're coming onto my page, like, you can buy a challenge back off me. It's nothing like that. It's just very general, like, hey, you've came into my page, this is what you're going to find. And quite often people are like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for that. Like, your page is really, it starts a quite a natural conversation with people. But yeah, I do, like, I would tag that on before or after like a team call. So that's me covering all of the 4 main aspects in any one day. The morning is myself, so I don't count that. I do maybe 20 minutes at lunchtime, which is my connecting with my challengers, answering their questions, getting results. And then I've got like my team calls at nighttime and my like inviting, which is like another, so you're maybe like an hour or so in total for all that stuff. But that helps me so much, just being so concise with like, this is what I'm focusing on just now. This is what I'm focusing on now, and just blinkers on and don't think about anything else. Because when I'm trying to do everything at once, like I say, nothing gets done. And you'll probably you had this as well, where you just can't stop thinking about Beachbody and what your next post is going to be and who you're going to sign up, and you've not hit Success Club yet. And if you don't give yourself that specific time to be like, right, I'm working on it now, like, you'll go to bed and your mind will still be racing on it. So we've all had times like that. But I think when you are being really specific about what you're doing through the day, it gives your brain time to cut off as well and not just get overwhelmed with everything. I do find as well is that you do have to sort of like, what works for me won't necessarily work for you, but you can sort of like take little bits from it. And like I said, depending on what your goal is, you're going to just maybe put in a little bit extra time or a little bit less time. If you're just here for more the sort of community side of things, then you're going to lean in a little bit more into the group chats and the bod group and the events and stuff like that. So it's really, really important to look at not what anyone else is doing, but why you're here. Like, what do you want to get out of it? Because we're all equal, whether we're in just as a discount coach or whether we want to be the next top 10. I think that's the great thing about Beachbody, is there is no targets other than what you put on yourself. So you need to be clear in your own mind about what those targets are that you want, and then you have to decide how much time to put in it. And I think the thing that I want to finish on is, if you have like a partner or even children who are of a certain age, be open with them about what you're doing. Because I know that when I started, my husband was like, this is taking over your life. And I was like, well, it isn't actually, because, and when I sat down with him and said, that 2 hours in the morning is just my workout. Like, that's really nothing to do with coaching. That's my time. And then I would say to him, I'm like, when I'm on my phone, like, I'm chatting to the girls in our Facebook Messenger chat. That's not coaching. That's me leaning into the community. That's like, if I was just in a gym group or a class or something like that, like my boot camp has a WhatsApp chat and they chat away to each other all the time. That isn't coaching. That's me leaning into the community side. But when I'm in here at nighttime and I'm on a call, that's me coaching. And that's like an hour a night. So I had to be really clear with my family about saying, like, right, between 8 and 9, I'm working. And I am working. It's not a sort of pastime. Like, for you, yes, it might be just a pastime. It's a hobby. But for me, it is actually part of my business. It's an income that I rely on. So I had to say to them, right, I'm 8 to 9 of a nighttime, I'm working, I'm earning. And I think when you're really clear to them about what you're actually doing, then they're a little bit more accommodating. My husband actually said to me yesterday, he said, oh, like, again, he was like, you like seem to be like talking about it like all the time. And I was like, well, do you know what? Actually, the last 2 weeks, I have done almost zero coaching business work because I've been focusing on leaving my job to kind of go full time with my other business. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, the things that you're seeing me talking about are, I'm talking to the girls in my group, like, we're talking about tie-dye leggings, and we're talking, that isn't coaching, like, that is the community side of that. And if you're counting that as your income producing activities, you're not going to get a check at the end of the week for commission. And that's it. You've got to be really clear about what are the business activities and what are the really fun community activities that we need to make it feel like a community, and to make us have fun and to want to kind of turn up every day. So that is my tips.
Oh, that was absolutely awesome. I know we've got some amazing messages in the chat down there, and everybody's kind of nodding, and I just think you're amazing. And first and foremost, thank you so much for agreeing to this, because we've been after you for a while to come in. So to give up half an hour of your really, really precious time, first and foremost, thank you. And thank you guys obviously for coming on as well. But I want to give you guys just a chance. Maybe Gillian, do you want to just unmute and maybe just ask the question or just say anything to Ali while you've got a moment or two?
Yeah, I don't know that I've got any questions for you, Ali. I just found that really useful, because I think time management's a really big thing for me. I think having like 4 different businesses that I'm kind of trying to run at the same time, and trying to really be quite strict on what I'm doing and when, and I totally get caught up in the fun stuff. So I think having that reminder to really think about, okay, so what am I doing here, and is this a income producing activity, or is this a community activity? Is the more reminders I get of that, the better, really, I think.
That's key.
I think the community side of it is so important, because if you don't give yourself that time, then it just becomes like, you don't want to be doing all this, or you want to be doing the stuff that you love the most, because that's what's going to show through to your customers. But you need to be really specific with your time. And I think as well, another thing that helped me was, and this is with my other business as well, when I first started my smoothie business 7 years ago, I'd be up at midnight still messaging people, trying to organize like a delivery with them and stuff. But actually, what I realized was nobody expects you to message them back at that time. So, but if I got a message through on my Facebook page, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I need to like get this booked in now, because like I might lose it. But actually, if someone messages you at nighttime, they're not expecting a message straight back. So if you kind of set yourself really strict sort of business hours and you get a message, it's having the sort of mental strength, and this is where the personal development comes in, to be able to be like, right, that message is there, but it's not my time to answer it yet. And then like when I get up in the morning to do like my personal development and my workouts, like I do see and I've got such OCD. I love having a clean phone with no red dots on it. When I get up in the morning, it is so hard not to open all the chats. And that's why I started recording myself doing my personal development, because it physically took that out of my hands, because otherwise I would get up at 5, I'd start answering messages, and before I knew it, I didn't have time to do my workout. And then I hadn't done, and then it just puts the whole day to pot. So I think being, just really strict with your times and when you're doing each activity and focusing on each part of your business.
Thank you. I agree. I think social media could so easily be such a total time drain.
Absolutely. I think as well, I just personally love the fact that you've like figured out what are your income producing activities, and you've called them that. What are your you time, and you've given yourself those times and slots in the day to make sure that, and I hope you guys notice that, like, and you will do, but like she's doing the business activity tracker. That's what she's following, and she's looked at what needs to be done to make a business work, and she's slotted them into the times that suits her. So when she's doing business activity tracker time and she's doing business activity time, then the kids know that this is the time that mummy's making pennies. So the kids are looked after at that point, or it's when the kids are at nursery, or when I know your kids are older than that, but if your kids are at nursery or whatever, then that is the time that you are working your business and moving the needle in your business. So just knowing like what is work and what is not really, because looking after yourself, you should be doing that anyway. And I really, really like the fact that you've done that. And that you've segregated it out into different time slots. And like she said, if you do it all, and when you do it all, and it's only that, it's an hour. That's what she's built it on. And I can honestly say, like, remembering Ali when she first came in, I remember like your business just boomed by, was it not Clean Week you started with? It wasn't big challenge packs and lots of different things. It was, you started with what you knew. And
that is right. And sometimes I think it was so much easier when I actually did this. When I first came on, with 21 Day Fix. And for about a year, probably about a year, every single person that I took on, and I called it an induction program. So because 21 Day Fix has got cardio, it's got weights, it's got Pilates, and it's got yoga. So every single person that came on with 21 Day Fix, and I said, right, we've got a 21-day induction. You do the 21 days. You tell me out of those 4 elements what you liked the best, or maybe you enjoyed mixing it up. And from that, we pick a follow-on program. So if they say, I love the Pilates and the yoga, I'm going to say to them, well, like bar blend or PIO. If they love the weights, I'd put them on to whatever. And it was just so easy to do that. Then I started getting into the habit of jumping in with the new releases, which I think is great because you've got that excitement, but it does complicate it a little bit more, because the new release might not be what's right for the person, but it's the best deal at the time. So you kind of have to explain it a little bit more and stuff like that. But I definitely think, like, whatever program you're doing just now should be the one that you're joining people with, because it's the one that you're going to be most confident with. Or something like 21 Day Fix or Clean Week, when you can say, look, this is like a short introduction into it. I really feel that the people that I've started on like Bar or Morning Meltdown 100, when they're coming in from doing nothing and they're going into a massive program like that, like the actual completion rate of it is really low because it's too much for them. So actually, like a shorter program, like Let's Get Up is perfect because it's 30 days and it's dancing and you don't really feel like you're doing very much. I'm a sweaty mess by the end of it. I don't know how everyone else is not being, but I think that's just me. That's why my group is called the Sweaty Mess Club, because I'm a sweaty mess all the time. But like something like that is quite, you know, anybody could come on and do that. But again, that comes down to time management. Like if you're confident about what you're speaking about, it's just going to come quicker to you when you're speaking to someone. If you're trying to sign someone up with someone that you're not something that you're not familiar with, then you're probably going to have to be reaching out to people like, oh, like help me with this, or, you know, going and having a wee look on to try and find the information. So stick with what you know, you know, and don't, when I'm offering people to come on with me, I give them 2 options. I give them well, it used to be 39, so it's 59 now. I literally say to them, you can come on starting at 3 months from £59, or you can come on for a year for, at the moment, like £78. So like, you know, and I quite often put like when, with the CEO codes, because obviously we've got a couple of hours left to use them, I check my subscription report weekly. Like I know when people's bods are renewing, and I'm messaging that. Like I will have a look at my subscription report for May, and I go, right, whose bod is due in May, and I take a wee note of them, and then I go into their Instagram and I stalk them for a wee while, and they're already customers of mine, but I want to make sure that they don't think I'm going straight to them and being like, oh, hey, your bod's due for renewal, come on, give me some more money. Like I want to make sure that I've got like a message in them, and I'm talking to them and I'm saying, are you on a program? Like, come on, let's get you started. So that if they have fallen off the wagon a bit, like 5 weeks before they're due to renew, I'm getting them back on, I'm getting them all sorted, so that when I went to them yesterday and said, oh my gosh, your renewal's due on the 28th of April, but I've got this amazing code, like, and I put in brackets, like, this is what you're paying 4 times 39, but you can get the whole year for 78. And that's how I've kind of, you know, used them. And it's just been really efficient with your time, and you know, it all kind of just flows a little bit better then.
I love it. I love it, Ali. Just so many, everything's going on there. I just really, really appreciate that. And we'll get this up and recorded, and I'll send you guys all the links for it. And congratulations as well for going full-time self-employed.
Thank you. I know I'm sitting here with like crates of apples and stuff.
Oh, babes. Right, we're going to let you go. I've taken a picture, so I'll send you guys that, and I'll send you it as well. Listen, some love to Ali. Thank you so much for everybody for coming. I hope you guys send Ali some love as well. See you guys later.